This is Food Chemistry Unit 5. We're still in Chapter 18, Types of Foodborne Illness. The stomach flu often shows symptoms of foodborne illness. So symptoms like stomach cramps, vomiting, diarrhea. This could be a foodborne illness, not necessarily stomach flu. Could be. Now, an outbreak is two or more people who become ill from eating the same food, and this often is the result of a pathogen in the food. Now, a pathogen is a microorganism that causes illnesses in humans, and an illness is caused by intoxication or infection. Food intoxication, microbes can give off a byproduct that causes harm. The toxin is a harmful byproduct. So the microbe does not make you sick, their toxin does. Food intoxication is a foodborne illness caused by the toxin released by the microbe. Clostridium perfringens. This causes the most frequent but mild form of food intoxication. Their spores, this is a bacteria, are heat resistant. Small numbers often remain in cooked foods and then multiply during cooling and storage. They're naturally found in soil, water, air, sewage, but they're often traced to protein-based foods like meats, gravies, and vegetables. A low pH usually kills bacteria. Proteins raise the stomach pH, so your more acid-resistant spores can survive and get to the intestines. Enzymes released by the bacteria damage the small intestine. Symptoms include diarrhea. The toxin pulls water into the intestines, right? Then you get bloating, cramps. Gas is a byproduct. This often goes unreported. It can last for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. And how to prevent this? Food handlers need to limit contamination. You need to prevent growth with proper refrigeration, and then just destroy it. Cook your food properly. Staphylococcus aureus. These survive in salt solutions that kill other bacteria. So these are often in cured meats like ham, poultry, salads like potato, macaroni, and tuna. Pasteurization and reheating kill it. The toxin it produces is quite heat stable. It remains after the organism is destroyed. It's found on healthy humans and animals in pimples, boils, open wounds, skin or mucous membranes, like the lining of the nose. It's easily transferred to your hands after touching any of these areas. And 3 hours at room temperature is enough to produce enough toxin to cause illness. Symptoms include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal cramps. It's rarely fatal, lasts about 1 to 2 days, and it depends on the amount consumed and one's resistance to it. Humans are the main source. Food handlers need to practice proper hygiene and sanitation. Equipment should be sanitized and cleaned. Eat and cook the foods at proper temperatures, including storing and reheating leftovers properly. Clostridium botulinum. This is the third most common, but very dangerous. It's found in all soil types, therefore surfaces of vegetables, right? Marshes, lakes, fish can carry it. The toxin, botulin, passes through the intestinal wall and enters the bloodstream and then to the nerves. This will result in paralysis of the muscles. Symptoms can occur 12 to 72 hours after eating. Symptoms include blurred vision, weakness, a red or sore mouth, tongue, or throat, diarrhea, and then constipation, and then abdominal pain, followed by paralysis in the throat, chest, arms, and legs. Infants are more susceptible. Honey and spinach are at the highest risk and should never be given to infants. It's thought that SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome, it could be an infant infected with botulin, and you just wouldn't know, and that's how awful. Home canned foods, improperly processed peppers, soup, Asparagus, mushrooms, spinach, and ripe olives are sources. Ways to try and help prevent this are to wash vegetables to remove that soil, wash and gut your fish properly, freeze your foods. Cured and processed meats, these would be ruined at temperatures needed to kill bacteria. So that's why nitrates and nitrites were added. In terms of home canning, you need to cook your vegetables to a high temperature to kill it first. Escherichia coli or E. coli, this lives in the colons of mammals, including us. It gets into the food supply by sewage contaminated water, infected food handlers, wildlife feces, or improperly cured manure fertilizers. There are 7 strains that cause foodborne illness. The first causes illness if large amounts are in the small intestine. The second produces a toxin in the small intestine. The third invades the mucous lining of the intestine. And then we just had, they're called fourth, and fourth. There's a fourth type that causes bleeding in the colon and kidney failure. There's a fourth type that's the deadliest, especially in young children and older adults. And there's a fourth that causes illness within as few as 10 cells in the food supply. Anywhere from 1 to 13 days, the symptoms can start. And again, similar symptoms, right? Diarrhea, nausea, fever, cramps, weakness, aches, and vomiting. The loss of fluids and electrolytes is the main source from going to the bathroom so much. Outbreaks can occur from soft cheeses, hamburgers, salads, any food exposed to raw fecal matter. Your ground meats may have it from the slaughterhouse. So your patties have to be cooked properly to a temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Your food handlers must practice proper hygiene and sanitation. Water supplies need to be chlorinated, and cook your food properly.